The invisible conversation behind every click. Every time you click a button on a website and wait for something to load, a conversation is happening behind the scenes. That conversation is called an HTTP request and response. It's how programs communicate across the internet. Whether you're loading a profile, submitting a form, or triggering an automation, systems are constantly sending requests and receiving responses. Understanding this cycle is essential for building reliable automation. What is an HTTP request? An HTTP request is how one system asks another system for information or to perform an action. For example, a browser might ask a server to load a web page, or an automation tool might ask an API to create a new record. An HTTP request has four main parts. First, the URL, which is the address of the resource being requested. Second, the method, which defines the actions such as get to retrieve data, post to send data, or delete to remove something. Third, headers, which provide additional information about the request. And fourth, the body, which contains the actual data being sent, usually in POST or PUT requests. For example, a simple GET request, like get users 123, asks the server to return information about user 123. Think of an HTTP request, like asking for a book at a library. You give the librarian the title and details, and they go find it for you. What is an HTTP response? An HTTP response is what the server sends back after receiving a request. It tells the requester whether the action succeeded or failed, and it includes any requested data. An HTTP response contains three main parts. First, the status code number that indicates the result. For example, 200 means success, 404 means not found, and 500 indicates a server error. Second, headers, which provide additional response information. Third, the body, which contains the returned data such as HTML or JSON. For example, if the request for user 123 succeeds, the server might return a status code 200 in JSON data, like name John Doe, email john.doe@example.com. The status code acts like a quick summary. It tells you immediately whether everything worked or something went wrong. The request-response cycle in action. The request-response cycle happens every time systems exchange data. One system sends a request. The server processes it. Then the server sends back a response. This loop powers the entire web. For example, imagine a user filling out a contact form. When they click Submit, the form data is sent as an HTTP POST request to the server. The server processes the data, stores it in a database, and sends back an HTTP response confirming success. This cycle happens in milliseconds, but it's the foundation of every website, app, and automation workflow. The request-response cycle powers every interaction on the web. If you understand this cycle, you understand how automation tools, APIs, and applications communicate behind the scenes.